Draft rankings, what is up? Welcome back to Friday of the NFL Combine. We're here. There's no Matty Kiwoom here. He's supposed to be joining me on this show, but he's not here. He's still in Boston, Mass, or somewhere in Mass, dealing with snow and preparing for more snow. But I'm here with Alex Dunlap from Roster Watch. We're grinding through the week of Combine. All the defensive players are through their 40-yard dash. They're through their three-cone, their short shuttle. They're done with the workouts. And it's on to the offense on Saturday and Sunday, watching quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and the offensive line run and work out and do those fun things. But today, I wanted to talk about defense, some of the biggest risers from a workouts perspective over the course of the last 2 nights of watching defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs. I mean, the safeties tonight specifically were blazing. I mean, we had Lorenzo Styles, the safety from Ohio State, with an official 4.27 from Ohio State, the younger brother of Sonny Styles, who, again, blew up the combine on Thursday night. Big riser. Sonny Styles, I think Rich Eisen had the good tweet this today about Sonny Styles being the guy that blew up all pre-combine mock drafts because nobody had him. There's very few people had him consistently in the top 10 of their mocks, and now there's a lot of helium around that number 5 overall spot with the New York Giants. Some of you will remember the last time a player of this ilk, 6'5", 240, low 4.4s, jumped out of the building. That was Isaiah Simmons, who went to the Giants at one point in the top 10. The biggest riser had to be Sonny Styles, again, just because of where he rose from, being the off-ball linebacker. He talked about playing the middle linebacker position. We've been having the conversation here in Indianapolis about why isn't he in the edge conversation. I put out a tweet today or maybe it was last night about some of the edge rushers that kind of fit the exact build that Sonny Styles came through with on Thursday night. I get my nights mixed up here. Will McDonald, shorter, smaller, slower, less dynamic, went 15th overall to the Jets, who, again, are an interesting spot. They just traded for T'Vondre Sweat, got rid of Jermaine Johnson. Leonard Floyd, 6'5", 244, the exact height and weight of Sonny Styles. He went 9th overall to the Chicago Bears a couple of years ago. Not as fast as Sonny Styles. Did not jump nearly as high as Sonny Styles. As far as dynamism goes and what he brings to the table, I mean, it's Brian Burns, Deion Jordan, Berkevius Mingo, and even Arvell Reese, his teammate, is in that conversation. And we all know he is looking at that number 2 overall draft pick with a lot of interest. He has to be the top riser, though, from the weekend on the defensive side of the football. Another player that we really liked on Thursday night, as far as the full workout and the running, was Zane Durant, the defensive tackle from Penn State. Was not really on a lot of radars. There was a couple of defensive tackles that were not impressive. I'm not going to talk negatively towards the guys tonight. I just want to talk about a couple of risers through the process. If you look at where Zane Durant was going on pre-combine NFL mock drafts in the mock draft database, he was around pick 130, and that's around defensive tackle 12. That's after the Dante Corleones, after the Dominique Oranges, or after the Darrell Jacksons. Zane Durant ran a 4.75. I think he was about 200. I think he came in at 290 pounds. Zane Durant came in at 166 split, 33.5 vertical jump as well. Grayson Holton, defensive tackle from Oklahoma, going off boards in the similar category, 110th overall. So that's 4th round. I think Holton's going to end up in the inside of my top 100 very safely from Oklahoma at the defensive tackle position. There was a couple of defensive tackles we talked about specifically during the press conference availabilities. Lee Hunter was awesome. Lee Hunter workout was okay. Cade McDonald's workout wasn't that great. Peter Woods didn't work out. Caleb Banks ran well from Florida. Wasn't that great. So really the top end of that defensive tackle class wasn't the greatest. And then we talked about Zane Durant takes a step forward. Grayson Holton takes a step forward. I'm reminded of Caleb Proctor from Southeastern Louisiana, who ran a 4.79, was overshadowed by Zane Durant. That was your 3 fastest defensive tackles, and all 3 had good workouts. Zane Durant had the best workouts, I thought, but Caleb Proctor was right behind him, and then Grayson Holton was probably a little ways behind him. Really good workouts for those three defensive tackles. As far as the linebackers go, Sonny Styles mentioned him already. Anthony Hill Jr., a lot of negativity around his name the course of the last couple of weeks and a month. People saying, oh, he's a no-doubt third-rounder. Wow, I didn't even think about him till day 3. And now we've talked to people here in Indianapolis, and we've told you guys that he's still going to continue to be in that first-round conversation. Todd McShay came out last night and said he's a top 40 lock. And then he spoke to a couple of general managers that said they would spend a first-round draft pick on Anthony Hill if the board fell right in Pittsburgh in April. A lot of interesting linebackers. Jacob Rodriguez, another one from Texas Tech, who people were very, very worried about his athletic ability, his change of direction. He ran a 6'9" flat 3-cone. Solid for a linebacker. 4.19 shuttle, very solid. We saw some guys run 4.6s, 10-foot broad, 38.5-inch vertical, ran a 4.57. Like, he checked those boxes, I think, to put himself as a lock inside that top 64, which is the top 2 rounds. The third linebacker I'll talk about is Jake Golday. He didn't quite rise as much as we thought he would from the University of Cincinnati. 6'4", 240. He ran a 4.62, did jump 10 feet, did jump 39 inches, but he had a 7-second 3-cone and a 4.34 shuttle. Good, not great. I think the biggest takeaway has to be that Anthony Hill was your biggest riser there at the linebacker position. Can also not overshadow the Kyle Lewis 4.53 from Pitt. At the cornerback position, 2 names I'll leave you with. Chris Johnson from San Diego State. Very hot, very cold, ran a 4.4, bumps back. I think he's going to bring himself right back into that conversation to be around round 1, kind of that late round conversation to get into round 1, I think will be his hope. The last one we'll leave you with is at safety, a name that I didn't really think was going to be in the first round conversation or second or third. Robert Spears Jennings runs a 4.32 to Oklahoma, but he's not the big riser. Dylan Thieneman, I think with a 4.35 tonight, the safety from Oregon, a 4.35 officially from Oregon at 6 foot, 201, 41-inch vertical, 10'5" broad jump, 4.35 40, I think locks himself in to the first round of the 2026 NFL draft.